I speak with the tongues of men if I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge and have all faith so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions and deliver my body to be burned and do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient and kind. It does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrong, but rejoices together with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. As for prophecy, it will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For now we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Now, we see in a mirror. Then, face to face. Now I know in part. Then I will know fully. Even as I have been fully known. Now will I have faith, hope, and love. These three. The greatest of these is love.
I verse. And isn't God just the epitome of that love, that unconditional, unmerited kind of love? And yet humanity has tried for many, many years to squelch that kind of love, right? It's more about that immediate feeling. We want that ooey-gooey feeling. But absent of agape love, wars are waged. Stones are thrown. Fires erupt and angry people abound, and that's just inside the church. You see, that's essentially what Paul is talking to in this letter. It's a letter of an explanation of what love really is, and to know Paul is to know that Paul never writes a letter without understanding what the circumstances are of who he's writing the letter to. So Paul has caught wind of some dissension between the folks. Some stomping of the feet, I want what is mine. It has to be done this way. Some law followers, right? So he sets out to write a beautiful letter about love. One of my favorite things to recite when I want to rip someone a new one. Yeah, I want to do that sometimes. Am I alone in that? Sometimes I face people, even my own family, and I'm like, you better. And sometimes I don't always get it right. But there are times I have to take a step back, and I have to sing that song that I learned once in a mass, and there's a shameless plug for a mass. They will know we are Christians by our love. Amen. So my question this morning is to you. How do the people on the outside of those walls know we are Christians? Let us go to the Lord in prayer. Gracious Father, we thank you so much for an opportunity to gather together here this morning. Lord, gather together, whether it's tables or it's chairs, but we're gathered together in your name, in your bride. This place where you have gathered us so that we may hear a word, may penetrate our hearts, and we can go out into that world. And when we proclaim who we are, Father, there is no doubt to the rest of the world who we follow. And it's in your mighty name we pray. Amen. Amen. So 1 Corinthians 13 is more a passage about relationships. It's priority of relationships over achievements. Now, sometimes that's kind of hard for us, right? We get those waters mucky. We're so busy trying to achieve that we think we can kind of mold the relationships into it. Well, Paul puts the priority of the relationship over anything else that can be achieved. This passage is most well known for weddings, right? You always read at weddings. I'm sure if I asked for a show of hands, most all of us, when we got married, we heard this passage, or it's on Valentine's cards, right? Christian Valentine's cards. You can't get away from it. But the word so often is misinterpreted. This 4-letter word. See, Paul uses love, that agape kind of love in this letter, to really proclaim what it is and how it looks and how we must walk it out. It is an action word. Amen? It is used to translate God's love. Sacrificial love. The kind of love that sent Jesus to the cross. In fact, when we were singing a few minutes ago, I closed my eyes and I envisioned Jesus hanging from the cross. What kind of love that must have been. When we do that, you can't help but just have this overwhelming, warm feeling. Not that kind that comes from your boyfriend and your girlfriend, right? But that kind of love that would go to any extreme for us, an audacious kind of love, a fearless love, a reckless love, a love with no boundaries, unrestrained. The two other Greek words that are used here are eros, and I'm going to try not to mess this one up, the philia, the kind that we feel for our friends. That eros kind of love is that mushy-gushy kind of love we see on TV. But Paul is writing this letter of sorts to the Corinthian church. There's argument There's some law abiders that would rather put achievements or the laws above the relationships of the people within that church. And this passage, it's nestled inside these other passages about spiritual gifts. Paul presents the church as a body, and it takes on many parts, right? Many functions. Yet these gifts alone, absent of love, sustain nothing. Because as Paul says, the greatest of these is love. And so this morning, I ask you to pull out your Bibles if you have them, your technological device, and we're going to go through these scriptures line by line, and I want to start with 13:1. If I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. A noisy gong. Now, there's a picture of a gong up here, so you can kind of get an idea of what that is. It's an instrument, kind of a hollow type of sound. I often think of someone holding a bamboo stick or some kind of, big, chunky stick or something, hitting that. And you see sometimes on TV, they use that as kind of a joke. But in Corinth, this was a specific type of instrument. A specific type of metal was used. It was bronze and tin. It was this alloy kind of metal. And it was used on the Temple of Jerusalem. It was an ancient world type of hollow metal. And so Paul is saying by using this analogy that this musical instrument, this accompaniment, which is being sounded to the gods, is really of no use. See, we can speak in tongues, we can speak in other languages, we can use that God-given gift to speak in the language of angels. That supernatural gift, right, that some of us may have. But absent of love, it means nothing.
Amen.
It's empty words. It's meaningless. Empty words that are absent of that love. It's just talk. You're just talking the talk. You're not putting any action behind it. It is void of any action. And some say it's a repulsive noise. Have you ever encountered someone standing before them and as they talk, you just know, I'm sorry, that they're full of you know what? Right? You know that even as they rant off a list of things that they believe that they must do or that would make them good enough in your eyes, that the moment that they walk away, it'll never get done. It's empty words to make them feel good in that moment. Well, that's exactly what Paul is talking about here. And then Paul goes on to say, and if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains but do not have love, once again, I have nothing. This is a reference to Mark 11:23, where Jesus says, I tell you the truth, if anyone says to this mountain, go throw yourself into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says will happen, it will be done for him. This is the teachings of Jesus. This is the authority in which Paul speaks of. Paul does not come and speak in his own authority, but he speaks in the authority of Christ. And so he references Jesus. And he goes on even to talk about, I surrender my body, right? Now, some scholars would compare this to the burnings of Christians by Nero. They were willing to go to all costs, and they were burned like torches in the night. This past week, how many of you heard about the Nigerian pastor that was beheaded? Right? What a sad, sad story. But nestled inside that story is a story of great love. Is a story of great faith. That this pastor must have had even on the moment of knowing what was to come. He still never renounced his faith and his love in Christ. Amen? I had a conversation with someone this week, and in fact, it was with one of the guys from House of Hope. And we began to talk about that kind of love for God. And we both kind of openly said that if we were standing there, we can only hope that we would have that kind of love, because I don't think you ever know until you're in that moment what your reaction would be. But for me, this was an example across the world of that kind of love and faith that we must have. A bold faith and audacious love. See, this is no easy hand over my body. Coming to the altar, and I'm not minimizing it, but coming to the altar, God, I surrender. This is putting skin in the game. Amen. This is literally willing to go to whatever extreme it takes in order to proclaim that kind of love. Because see, we love because God first loved us. Amen. And He poured that kind of love into us. But more so, he goes on to say, I better not boast about it. I better not take any kind of credit. I better not get my feathers all puffed up. And so often, we want to do that, right? So often, when we do acts of kindness, we want to get credit for it. Now, I'm not talking about, proclaiming it to the world, come and join me in doing this, but I'm talking about, look at what I did. We want to one-up someone who has surrendered all, don't we? Well, you did this, and guess what? I did that. And here at Wildwood, I'm always amazed. There are so many quiet soldiers in our church. We saw two right before us this morning. I saw one passing out wet wipes, and I saw so many gathering together to put those into bags. Quiet soldiers that will never stand up and never say, well, I did that. I did this over here. The people who will be helped by those will never know your name, and you're okay with that. See, this is what Paul is saying that love is. It's not boasting. Love is self-sacrificing. Love is taking on that burden. It's giving of your time. And in fact, it's standing up for injustices. It's doing our small little part that we can do for others. And our actions absent of any kind of love, it's quite clear it's nothing. I gain nothing. You heard that song before, I don't want to gain the whole world and lose my soul, because you can have as much as you can have and be absent of love and truly have nothing. I'm sorry, I don't envy that. I'm not envious of that, so you can one up all day long, but absent of that love, I'm not attracted to it. Are you? Love is necessary if we are to survive the muddy waters of indifference and disagreement. When I say we, I mean the church. And I don't just mean Wildwood, but I mean the church, the greater whole, the church. I mean, after all, here at Wildwood, do we always agree? Oh, right. We can sit around the table for hours and talk about how we disagree. We can talk about our differences. We are not a homogeneous society, right? And that is reflective in our church. Paul saw that the Corinthian church did not always fall into step with one another. They had different views, values, and experiences, just like us. Paul gives us some of this, and he goes on to tell us in the scriptures of what this is and what it isn't, and the kinds of language and what we should do. And the example is quite clear. Love is patient, love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoings, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. He goes on to say love never ends. It's not prideful. The word in Greek, it literally means puffed up. See, knowledge puffs us up, but we know that one-upping, it puffs us up, but love builds us up. Amen? That's right. The kind of pride that Paul talks about here in different translations is like a haughty kind of pride. You ever heard that word, haughty? Yeah. I don't like that word. I don't like that word because it literally means a better than you kind of attitude. I'm better than you. I can do it better than you. Look what I did. When we come face to face with those kind of people, man, it's not very attractive, is it? Their feathers are all puffed up, and all I want to say is, man, put your feathers away. You know? I mean, come on. You want to put a pen inside of them, right? And deflate them. Because our egos can flare when we talk about the achievements versus the relationships. And honestly, it's one of the hardest lessons to teach a child. Sitting around our kitchen table, oftentimes it plays out something like this. One child, I'm not going to say names. They're in the witness protection program. One child on one end begins to talk about what they had done in school. Man, I got a great grade. This is what went on. And right at that moment, there's just a second of a pause. Now, we don't do this as adults, do we? But there's a second of a pause, and all of a sudden, the child from the other side of the table goes, well, and I did this, and it's like, this child over here does not even get a moment to be recognized for what they have done. There's no stopping. I want to one-up you. I want to tell you what I have done. It's one of the hardest lessons. I say it again, not just to teach a child, but for God to teach us. But one of the best ways that I found how to control this very human reaction, because it really is a human reaction, is to stop. Stop for a moment. Take a breath. First off. Because when we're spitting out stuff, man, we're not breathing. Take a breath. Concentrate on listening to hear. To hear, not to respond. Because in relationships, the other person, they want a connection. And if you can't hear what they're saying, you're going to walk away from them, and 2 seconds later, you're going to forget anything that they said. And next time you encounter them, you're not going to have anything to talk about. Because you never listen to what they're saying. But then Paul goes on to talk about the next nots, right? Love is not rude. Love is not rude. I'm guilty. I'm guilty sometimes, even of the people who I love the most, even in my household. I can be rude sometimes. No comments from the peanut gallery or from the back. I see the smiles and the smoke coming out of the ears. Love is not rude. See, this was an unacceptable characteristic in the elite Roman society. And it shouldn't be in ours, right? But yet it happens. We're guilty. We get angry, we feel slighted, we feel rejected, and the first thing we want to do is spit out something sarcastic or retaliate with words. How many of us know words hurt? Now put your hands down, and I'm not going to ask for hands this time, but how many of us still do it? How many of us are still rude in the way that we speak, in the way that we're quick on the tongue? We want to spit something out because it just came to our mind, and later we're going to talk about self-control. Because that's what it takes. It takes self-control. Because love is not self-seeking, right? Love should not be self-seeking. It should be something that makes us feel better, and that's what really the rudeness does. We're seeking something that makes us feel better. I'm not seeking my own good, but the good of others. And these are the words of Paul. I am not seeking my own, but the good of others. See, love is not about making us feel good. Love is about filling that for someone else. But self-seeking, this is a term often used in the rooms of recovery. And I don't care what recovery program you're in, at some point we talk about self-seeking. We know as recovering addicts and alcoholics and other hurts, habits, and hang-ups that our behavior was once self-seeking. That's how we got into the place that we're in. We use things like control, we use manipulation. No hands? We use control, we use manipulation, we use all these other behaviors, even some we don't want to recognize, in order to get what we want. And sometimes even we confuse selfishness and self-seeking. See, these are two very distinct words. Selfishness is that 2-year-old behavior. Grab what makes me happy. Snatch it up real quick before somebody else can do it. But self-seeking has a motive. I love you, but only if. It's conditional. I will do this for you, but I expect. No, I didn't tell you what I expect, but I expect it. Right? Come on. We know. Oh God, if you would only. Then I would. God, I won't speak to you again unless you. Paul says love keeps no record of wrongs. Love is not conditional. Love does not hold grudges. They didn't apologize to you. They did something to you and they didn't apologize to you. Newsflash, get over it. Move on. Zechariah 8:17 says, do not plot evil against your neighbor. Do not seek revenge. Take it to God. Do not retaliate. Don't withhold a Christian hand because anything that comes after the because, we've lost all hope. We've lost love. Take it to God. And then we get these lines where Paul talks about children versus adults. Paul is alluding here to a process. See, it takes a process to grow into mature disciples. For some of us, we didn't come into a relationship with Jesus until we were adults. Does that mean we missed that whole beginning process of being children? No. We are all God's children. For some of us in here this morning, you may still be seeking. Haven't quite got this thing figured out. And now, Pastor, you're talking about love? You're in a process. We're all in different places. Hopefully, no matter where you are being discipled, though, by someone. And if you are not, please hear these words that I speak to you this morning. Find someone. Find someone. Maybe it's a multitude of people. I don't know about you, but it took a village to raise me. Okay? Find the people that you need. Find the people that have what you want. Find the people that have that gleam in their eye when they look at God's people and they see them the way that Christ sees them. Because I can tell you there are so many in our church. But it's during that process of discipling that we begin to grow. We begin to put away childish behavior, right? In fact, for me, it looked something like one day I was doing that behavior, the next day I was questioning that behavior, and the next day I was correcting that behavior. We should be moving on in a process. Now, this doesn't mean that we're not going to make mistakes, right? We're still going to make mistakes along the way, but what are your intentions of growing through those mistakes? How are you analyzing those mistakes? Are you sitting back and going, oh, well, I made a mistake? Or are you saying, God, help me. Let me see the lesson that I can learn, not the lesson that the other person can learn. And that's hard stuff.
Amen.
We grow and we learn from our mistakes quickly. I had a doll when I was growing up, and some of you know Bible study heard this story. I had a doll called My Child. Yay! There's an 80s baby back there. And My Child was one of those first dolls that really was not hard plastic, but felt soft, kind of like a baby. It was like a velvet skin. And my child collection papers because you had to mail off for him. Her name was Jill. And growing up without my mother really present for other reasons, it was nice because I didn't have very many baby pictures, and so I envisioned that this is what I looked like as a baby. I cleaned out my hope chest and I made a nice little crib for this baby, and every day before school I would take her out, I would love on her, and then I'd put her back in, and then when I came home from school, I would take care of her again. Until one day, I put my child in that hope chest, and she didn't come back out again until I moved out. I was growing. I began the process, that developmental process that we all go through. It wasn't that I didn't still love her. In fact, people were showing me pictures on Wednesday night, and that whole flood of that love came washing over me for her. But I put away the toys. I had to learn to grow. We are a reflection of our Creator. Amen? Amen. And God is love. God calls us to that bold, audacious, reckless, fearless. I could go on and on all day to those extremes. This is the kind of love that has us standing up for injustices. It has us taking on the burdens of other people. But what I really want to ask you here this morning, what do our actions, who do our actions reflect? Do we love with that kind of audacious love, that no holds barred kind of love? Do we reflect God's love, or do we reflect the love of the world? And what evidence in our lives shows that? Pastor Michael said last week, meekness is not weakness. We are called to have a meekness in the way that we interact with others. Are you afraid that someone, if you are meek, will get over on you? Lots of us are, right? But we're called to love the way that Christ loved. Trust in our God. We trust in our Creator. It's not so much about trusting you, DJ. It's not so much about trusting you, Sandra. That is a great kind of trust. But we must first have the trust for God in order to be able to have that trust for others. And know that no matter what, as long as we are extending that kind of love, oh, God's going to bless that in ways that you will not believe. So this week, let's take a few moments before we react to one another. Let's ask the question, if the next action that we are about to do, does it reflect God's love? Does it show who we really are? Does it proclaim what we believe in? This week, I challenge you to love one another like you've never loved before. Not just your church, not just because people do things that we want them to do, but because we were each created in the image of God. I'm going to invite Pastor Michael up to do the communion.
On Friday night, I was checking into the Quality Inn on Hollywood Boulevard, and I met the night manager there. Her name's Sarah. I asked her if I could share her story. And Sarah was having a tough night. You could tell she was disgruntled, as we all at work sometimes can be, right? So I just asked her how she was and what was going on. And she started to share with me that she goes in for dialysis 3 times a week. This is a young woman. And she shares with me, she of course asks what I do and all that and why I'm in town. And I always do everything I can to not tell somebody I'm a pastor because it immediately shuts down the conversation. And she shared with me about this Christian, a well-intentioned Christian, who comes into the dialysis bays where they do this every week, and she prays over the people. And Sarah explained to me how this woman doesn't listen to her, challenges her that she doesn't have enough faith to heal herself. And she expressed this pain and this discontent. And I think what Pastor Jill said this morning is so important, that love listens. Love listens to understand. It's just something in our world that we're not wired to do. And that really is the starting point of all love. It's not just to come into somebody's life and pray what we think they need. Say, you need to have more faith, you wouldn't be having dialysis. But to say, help me understand what's going on so that I can just be with you and love you. And that's what Jesus does, right? That's what the incarnation is about. He comes into our pain, into our struggle, and loves us through that and where we are. Let's go out this week and really love, really listen, really seek to understand. And you will be amazed, as many of us are when we do this, that what people bring to us and how they open their souls to us and share and invite us into their life. Because in a world where there's a lot of talking, there's very little listening. And we as followers of Jesus, we can do that. Every time we come to the table, it's an opportunity for us to look at the way that all of us have missed the mark and made mistakes and done crazy things. And in spite of that, God invites us to this table of crazy, extravagant, audacious love.
Amen.
And the good news is there's room for all of us here this morning. On the final night when Jesus was betrayed, he took the common loaf of bread and lifted it up to the disciples and he broke it and said, "This is my body."